thinking about how cruel and thankless and ungrateful the world is, wondering what we need to do to crack the code of the shackles of life? Pause, think about it with intentional thought, and consider where we go from here. Stay tuned and hear what Super Mason Duane Murray got to say about Freemasonry, what it is, and how it could be a successful tool for you.
Something to think about with Dale Happy Knowles. What we think, we become. What we radiate, we attract. What we imagine, we surely can achieve. Let's change the narrative, 242.
Welcome to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. We're going to have a very interesting conversation tonight with some very, 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 very big brain box people out there in cyber world, and also our guests in the studio. Hopefully they will call in. Everybody know that all you have to do is ask your questions in the chat, and we will endeavor to answer them however we think is appropriate for this forum that we're in. And so this evening we have to like to thank the sponsors, Dom Dev Enterprises and Page Investment. And we welcome Brother Duane, Worshipable Brother Duane Murray, who is now going to be appearing on the screen as long as I could find my screens. I don't understand why they disappeared, but anyway. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Welcome, Murray. Big Murray, how you do?
Well, thank you. I'm doing well. Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. And I hope I'm able to answer some of the questions you may have for me and to the general public out there.
Yes. You're the big man, and you could make anything happen. So what we'd like to start out is just to give a framework for what the show is about. We're here to try and help persons become more knowledgeable about things that we don't talk about too often, so that they can also use whatever information we need in order to help us advance our state of being, our quality of life in the Bahamas and wherever the 242 takes us. And so we have 5 pillars: sun, sand, sea, and people, and digital. Sun being renewables, etc., bush medicine for the sign. Sea is marine, like sharks, safaris, mangoes, etc. People, we know how people can be very resourceful and creative. And then the digital being smart cities and all of those things that tools could generate us to be. And so as we have this conversation today, we want to welcome Big Murray here on the screen with us. And we want to be able to highlight that, Big Murray, we know by the fact that him being a Freemason that he believes in a supreme being. In Freemason, we call it supreme being versus anything else. And so we'll touch on a little bit about what that is. We know him to be a very ordinary person with talents. We have individual specialties, but both of us were considered, normal people. And so we want to highlight also that normal people could be successful. You don't always have to be some special person like, with all these special brain powers and invent this or do that special thing and stuff like that. Everybody can do so. So I consider himself to be an ordinary talent. We weren't the smartest tool in the box on our blocks. I think we probably could be considered some of the most liked people on our blocks, though. That nobody could take that from us. Those guys who went to McGill, some of them, they know who they are.
Oh, yeah, they know who they are. We won't call names.
No. We went, thank you, Lordy, etc., and so forth. So Murray is a businessman. He has over 40 years of workable experience and leadership through the hotel business, through the wholesale business, and also now through the rest and peace business. So, he can bring you up and take you down.
Oh,
as easy as you want to be.
I'm the last one to let you down.
Yes. But, to me, it is a quality that he has that makes him unique and different. And that quality, I say, is empathy. That emotional quotient that allows him to be able to build relationships and connect with people, to go from strength to strength and to move mountains when people think it's going to happen. I think that's a big quality to you, and I tip my hat. I don't have a hat on. I don't have no hair to tip or touch or whatever, but you
I
know how it
thank
go. Yeah.
I thank you, my brother.
Yes.
Thank you, my brother.
Good. So Freemasonry is one of the multiple vehicles that you've used, or you've embraced, I should say, to allow you to drive to be able to shine the most. And so in Freemasonry, we normally talk about making good men better. And so we're going to touch on that this evening so that we can help everybody understand how are we going to unlock this code. People always talk about this code of secrecy and all these different things. But, life is simple as far as I'm concerned. And so, Big Murray, there's a fundamental thing that we talk about in Freemasonry where we say that Freemasonry is a system of morality veiled in allegory. And so, when we look at that picture, what does that say to you, having been a Mason for umpteen years?
Well, the basic structure of Freemasonry is, like you say, it's veiled in allegory. Now, the allegory is based on the life of Hiram Abiff. Who was Hiram Abiff? Hiram Abiff was the chief architect of the Temple of King Solomon. And it teaches us, based on the fundamental 3 degrees that we enter into, it teaches that story to us. It teaches that story to help to make you better. And we'll expand on that, making you better a bit later. But basically, the allegory is just a story that we can use to parallel our lives, shape and mold our lives too. That's the basic, simple answer to the question.
Cool. And so the morality, because people don't normally associate morality to anything in life these days, right? For some strange reason. Well, I mean, not strange, but we understand.
But let's take it. Let's take it from the point of. Let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Freemasonry helps to make good men better.
By the way, and that's men, because we have to start at 21 to qualify, to be eligible. I shouldn't say qualify.
You have to start at 21. If you are a Lewis, you can start at 18, but that's far and few.
Right.
But you have to have morals in your life. You got to have some sense of doing the right things for the right reasons. That is the morality of being in Freemasonry. That's the morality of being in life, doing the right things for the right reason. And it teaches us through Freemasonry to fine-tune those 2 fundamental elements, morality and self-improvement. And that is what Freemasonry basically is about. We say we join Freemasonry to make good men better. If you have bad intentions, Freemasonry ain't gonna help you. But if you have good intent, Freemasonry is going to polish, shape, mold that intent to make you a better version of you.
And that is big missing in our society today, where people talk about the absence of fathers and what's happening in the schools. Granted, you can join until you're 21, but we'll touch into the programs, some of the programs that we engage in,
Yeah.
which help build the younger people, right, as we
Mm-hmm.
move forward, right, and so forth. Yeah. So if we look at that, then oh, can you read that? It says that Freemasonry is a places a
Place a
strong
strong
emphasis.
emphasis.
Yeah.
Yeah, emphasis on morals and ethic principles, aiming to promote personal growth, virtue, and improvement of society as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
and I could live with that.
Right.
I could live with that.
And so when we talk about those morals and the like, and then another area which people tend to not associate or get conflicted with is when we talk about the religion and where it conflicts with Freemasonry and so forth. And what would be your advice to people who have that view?
My advice to the general public: get away from believing the myth. Get away from the old stories that we are a cult, we devil worship. Um, Freemasonry is based on everyone who has a belief in a supreme being.
Mm-hmm.
Could be Allah, it could be Confucius,
Yep.
it could be God. But our beliefs is that we believe in a supreme being. Freemasonry doesn't impinge on your religion. It totally does the opposite. It helps to support and strengthen your belief in your religion.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to me joining Freemasonry, and I must say this out publicly, I want to thank you and my younger brother Douglas
Mm-hmm.
for being a sponsor for me to join Freemasonry.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm.
And I've never said, I may have said that to you privately, but publicly I wanted to make that statement. Church was never a thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I may go on on the special occasion of Lent, Easter, Christmas, the usual visits. But joining Freemasonry has allowed me to see and to understand that the two are intertwined. And it strengthened my belief in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, again, you talk about morals. Now that's one part of it. So this Freemasonry doesn't stop or hinder religion
Right.
or religious beliefs. It strengthens those beliefs. Again, remember, being a Freemason is about self-improvement.
Right. Mm-hmm. On that note, there also, folks, understand that Big Murray here is a lay minister in the Anglican Church, and you hear him say a couple of minutes ago that he only went to church piecemeal, for lack of a better word. That's a Bahamian word or Caribbean saying.
Vernacular, yeah.
Vernacular. So when we look at his growth over the years, he became more in tune with what most people think is a conflict that Freemasonry challenges and goes against. But there's the views that everybody could be as one, but few organizations allow you to be as one. Well, how often will you be able to see somebody on one side of the Gaza Strip, on the other side of the Gaza Strip, sitting in the same temple, fellowshipping? I mean, that's what Freemasonry brings to the table.
Yeah.
But we have people who believe all kind of things, that you can't do this and you can't do that, right?
Yeah. You know, I get this question a lot. I know we're drifting off a bit. I get this question a lot from my priests. Oh, you're going to lodge again. If you put more effort into the church as you put into the lodge, church would be better. Yeah.
I wonder if he asks his superiors that same question. But anyway,
for whatever reason, a lot of people will go at and research and believe this nonsense about it being a cult and taking away church and all of it. It enhances, and again I say it enhances your relationship with your God.
Yeah. So, and all that comes about as a result of the fact that Freemasonry allow you to open your mind in different ways to be able, and you embrace what you want to embrace. We don't tell you what to embrace. We tell you our morals, our structure, our framework, but it's for you to decide what you want to be engrossed in, or what you want to spend your focus on, because nothing stays the same in Freemasonry. And I always say, I learned a long time ago that there's no rights and wrong, there's only perspectives. And, a lot of that you will find that what might have happened today, or you thought was right and wrong, later on in life, when you have more experience and exposure, maybe education, academics, then your perspective changes, right? We don't never stay the same. And so I know Big Murray was having a little bit of internet challenges just now, and so he might have dropped off. But one of the things that we know from what Big Murray was just saying is that if we look at somebody who was in high school and then look at them today, maybe say 20s or in their 30s or 40s, do we expect them to be the same? And the answer is normally no. So if they're not going to be the same, then people can change. The question is, what is causing them to change? We all change because we want to change, or some traumatic event happened in our lives. And so as we would move along in life, all of the tools and all of the systems that influence us will have an impact on changing. And I would encourage persons to understand that Freemasonry is one of those things that if we drop some of the myths and get past that, then and open our minds to seeing what people who are in there are radiating, then that might make a big difference in terms of how we perceive the tools. And actually, it can also help us in how we look at everything on the outside that we might have closed minds to, and so forth, to be a better way. And so we had
my internet went down.
Yeah, we saw that. So we had a few welcome back. We had a few persons send you some blessings here. You have the Honorable Mario Curry, and he would have worked with me for a number of years, more years than I was at the place actually, saying lessons, etc. And then more from Big Murray, and then this one would have been Stephen Sweeting. It's also sending blessings, listening to the two of us.
Blessing,
So
Stephen. Blessing.
yes.
I haven't seen him, Brother Mario.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we were talking a little bit about that and structure. So what I want to ask you now is the structure of governance, because for any system, civil society system that is functional and successful, and Freemasonry has been around as the United Grand Lodge of England, that's been what, 1717. So this ain't no rinky-dinky thing that just fly by night and can fly off the cuff. And so
Well,
when we look at, tell us a
go
little
ahead.
about the governance, because you have two big titles, and tell us how that fits into all of the things, and right up from the top to the small fella like
Well,
me.
Freemasonry being around from, like you say, the 1700s. England was the major player back then. Scottish, Irish came out of the English. Scottish came out of the English, and Prince Hall came out of the English. So when we talk about the governance of Freemasonry, we have to separate the four jurisdictions to be fair. Yeah, we have to be fair to the other jurisdictions, and I only can speak on the governance of United Grand Lodge, of which you and I are a member of.
Right.
Scotland, Ireland and Prince Hall has their own structure.
Right.
Again, everyone believes, and all jurisdictions believe, that you must believe in a supreme being. That'll be the top. The United Grand Lodge of England is the mother of Freemasonry. She gave birth to the Irish, the Scottish, and to some extension, Prince Hall. When you look at the system here in the Bahamas, we are a district of United Grand Lodge. Scottish Freemasonry in the Bahamas is a district. The Irish is a province or a district. Prince Hall here is a part of a family, but they are the Grand Lodge of the Bahamas.
Right.
So they have their own structure. Top to bottom, like I said, supreme being, you have United Grand Lodge, you have the district, and that's pretty much the three tier of our system.
Right. So the district Grand Lodge also has what we call individual lodges, yes, as its members.
They have
governance, yeah.
They have individual lodges, just like every other jurisdiction have individual lodges, which we considered private lodges.
Right. Cool.
Well, other than that,
yeah. So in that district, there's a district grand master, then there's a deputy district grand master, there's assistants, and then there are some officers and members.
Yes.
And so you're an officer. I was an officer for 6 years. I just step out, and y'all will continue to do well.
Well,
So
we trust you don't go too far. We still need your. You are a senior Mason, and we hope that you don't go off into the sunset, like so many of our senior
retired.
Masons have
No,
done,
no,
who
no, you
have
don't,
who
you
have
don't have to worry
retired
about
from
that. Yeah,
office.
you don't have to worry about that.
There's still some contribution you can make. You can make to the district.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, again, the district, like we said, has private. We have private lodges that will answer to the district, and the district has to keep those private lodges, you know, under
Right.
a guideline set down from the mother lodge, United Grand Lodge. So the district is the private lodges are, let's say it in political terms, the prime ministers of lodges.
Okay.
The district is the governor general, and the king is now United Grand Lodge. I don't
Right.
want to say the
Right.
queen. She
Right.
gone.
No.
Rest her soul. So we have
Yeah.
to be able to control and to keep on the straight the private lodges
Mm-hmm.
and answer to the mother, the king, to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So it's a balancing act,
Right.
you
So
know. Yeah.
now that we get a fundamentals down back for people out there who may not know what Freemasonry is, and that gives you a pretty good structurally view as to how it functions or what it functions or how it's structured, governed, etc. And some of the things that drives it. And one of the main things that drives Freemasons is the belief of and the commitment to brotherly love, relief, and truth. So this is going to be fundamental to unlocking the code and being successful. From your experience, how does this impact brethren, whether they stay involved, rise to with energy to go up and pursue higher heights within Freemasonry? Because not everybody goes up the ladder. Not everybody cares to go up the ladder. Nobody is forced to go up the ladder. There's no quotas or anything like that. You are of your own free will and accord how you function. So
Hmm.
speak a little bit to that to the
Well,
audience would know.
um, basically, it is self-explanatory: brotherly love, relief, and truth. Um, for the listening audience, I have to be I have to be able to take another brother at his word, help my brother without question, speak to him with love and kindness, direct his path if I see him going down a slippery slope. It's very rare. You see, it's very rare. You don't see the relief um, with within our system. And the biggest example that I can give the listening public is we just came out of Dorian,
Mm-hmm.
Abaco, and Freeport, and we have lodges in Abaco and Freeport. Those lodges were hit. Those islands were devastated. But the beauty about Freemasonry was we had brethren outside of the jurisdiction of the Bahamas, without question, come to the aid of our brethren, whom they do not know.
Mm-hmm.
Or we hear about the District of the Bahamas and Turks. They do not know us individually.
Right.
The entire Caribbean came to our aid. That's brotherly love.
Mm-hmm.
That is the relief that when we joined Freemasonry, we swear to certain tenets of Freemasonry. And the truth was in the fact that I have to live according to my obligation
You still there? Yes, he froze up a little bit. Yes. And so when we look at that truth, we talk about the integrity of man and what we say in the public, we need to do in private. Because a lot of people today, we find, particularly in high offices, etc., they say certain things in public, but when they get to see all of the fixtures, then they're not able to do. But they don't come back to say, well, this change or that change. They're not upfront with everything. And so we need to be able to build and be able to become men of integrity, where we are able to go from strength to strength, where what we say we're going to do, we do. And Brother Murray was talking about the help from external. United Grand Lodge of England, if not the biggest individual organization contribution for relief around the world, is close to the top as a single organization in terms of global reach, in terms of relief for whatever the devastation is. And so in the area that we talked of just now, there was persons from Florida, persons from the United States, Canada, England, Caribbean, etc., who came to the aid. But there's also persons in country, because people moved around, and brothers accommodated brothers, some of which they did not know, because they're on different islands and etc. And some were brand new, some were not. But the mere fact that you were a brother, people, like you said, on their word, that they would have, somebody might have vouched for them, and they would have taken them into their homes, etc., to be able to live and get themselves back on their feet. Some moved to the States and what have you, and so you had to keep all of these things together. And so it was done. And other organizations, other Freemasons around the different constitutions, as he mentioned, the 4 constitutions, but also contributed in multiple directions, in country, and so forth. And so those things become very present when people see you doing things for you. That's part of opening or unlocking the code, because you build trust with people, and that trust is one of the biggest catalysts for success. Big Murray, welcome back.
Yeah, I have to apologize. I don't know if it's this internet all of a sudden wants to do its own thing today. But anyhow, let's deal with the matter.
Yeah, that's how the Murphy goes. Whenever you're talking truth and you're talking strength, that could build up the people in the country. For most of my shows that has something really strong on the table, somebody has somewhere trying to hold somebody back. That's just how the good fella goes, and when he hears those voices and he starts shaking. That's the devil fellow. So we ain't getting into too much of that, but let's say when we look at the three principles that we're taught in educational sessions, etc., and we look at them, we see this magnify itself in the hurricane relief response. We say we look to help the less fortunate. We want to improve ourselves along the way, so that we could become most productive for ourselves, and we want to live well, so that we will be remembered for doing the things the right reasons and not just doing it. All right,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is a principle that is stipulated all the time,
yeah.
and so you wanted to top that off, or you were good with that? Which one?
I'm good with that. I don't want to. I don't want to get too much involved in that one there. This one now is right up my alley. You
Yeah.
know,
So, what are the few community programs, etc., that we would foster and be involved with all the time?
okay, well, and I must give credit. I must give credit to the to Royal Victoria and Unity Lodge. For those of you, okay, Royal Victoria 443 and Unity number 8760. For their mentoring program, and we have mentoring programs that we try to address the younger males, the primary school males, and I must commend you on that. We also have interaction with Big Harvest, which is a Sunday school program in the community of Grantstown.
Mm-hmm.
And all of our lodges are involved in that program. And we put on two programs a year, a back to school and a Christmas program for the children. That's fine and good. But we look in our country, we see a number of we see a lot of violence in the country. And Happy, just bear with me on this one.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of violence in this country, and this is my personal belief. I have no issue with you mentoring primary school children who are behind, for a better word, who are behind. What happened to those 14, 15, 16-year-olds who we could influence as men?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, those young men are coming out of a system, out of school. 80% of those children and men are going to have to, what the shit?
Right. So
80% of the kids, the men, are going to have to become men overnight.
mm-hmm.
They're not going to go and further their education.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to join either the police, defense, the prison, customs, government agencies. But what happens to those young men? And I think we can tap into that. That is an area that we can tap in.
Right.
Because without direction, they're going to find another avenue. Because they're out there crying, I need help.
Right. I need love.
I need someone to hold my hand and show me how to become a man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I have no problem with the primary school.
Yep, yep.
But you got to be able to step up and say, let me come and hold your hand and show you how to be a man.
Right. Right. Yeah.
We
I
we,
mean,
we,
we have enough lodges to do.
we have
Uh,
4 jurisdictions in this
right.
country.
Right.
4. And I dare to say, I think the number of Masons, I think in New Providence alone, is about 800 or
Mm-hmm.
pretty or close to it. In all the jurisdictions on this island, I think we
Right.
have about 5 to 800 members,
Active. Yeah.
active members.
Mm-hmm.
We all get together, put aside the put aside uh, all the fluff,
Mm-hmm.
and let's get together as the fortress and say, look,
Yeah.
let us
Let's look.
go out there. Let us go out there into the community
Mm-hmm.
where these young men are. And I want to mentor this one young man each. 500 of us go out there and we get one.
Right. Yeah.
Today we are affecting 500. Tomorrow
Right.
we can affect 1,000.
Yeah. The multiplying effect kicks up. And I think that's a part of the stepping stone that we were on, but we just need to speed it up to get to the
Yeah.
point, because when we have mass appeal, then the mass action, then you have a greater appeal to the brothers, the young men out there, and they will want to come,
Mhm.
and they will then be an attractive for that. So you have a lot of people giving you love here in the chat group,
Oh,
and
very
so
nice.
yeah. Larry Davis is asking, what is the difference between Masons, the Bulls, and Divine Nine? I'm not 100% familiar with the Divine Nine.
I
But,
don't know about the bulls or the divine nine either. Maybe Larry may have some idea what the bulls and divine nine are. I can look it up. But
yeah, well, the Bulls, I think, would be not necessarily in. It's
Freemasonry.
more of a upper interest group type scenario, but I don't want to do the injustice to them or just be distracted to go with that. But I just wanted to highlight that people know that there are differences in the different things. And so, and he also asks about the U.S. Prince Hall and the like, and like that's what you mentioned with
Um,
all of them being pretty much the same
Prince Hall,
protocol.
and I'm only gonna give Larry. Bear with me. I'm only gonna give my small knowledge on Prince Hall. Prince Hall was. Let me set the backdrop. In the 1700s, 1800s, there was Freemasonry, and Freemasonry was only for the very, very light skin hue brother.
Mm-hmm.
Prince Hall was a man of dark hue who wanted to become a member of this society, and his application was rejected. Prince Hall applied to the United Grand Lodge. United Grand Lodge did, in fact, give him a charter. And at some point, they took it back for whatever reason. I might be a little bit off. But Prince Hall got on his feet, and Prince Hall is basically a darker hue lodge. and I have no, I have no, I have no ill will towards any of them. None.
Right.
I love my Prince Hall brothers. My grandfather and my granduncle were Prince Hall Masons, and I love every brother in every jurisdiction the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
My
I
grandmother
don't know
was.
if it helps what I said with you for Larry, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, the bottom line is I don't know enough about. I know a couple of people who are poles, but I can't say I could speak
mhm.
on it with any level of authority without doing injustice for them. So I wouldn't want to speak and do that, um, and so forth. And so, as we see all these blessings that you're getting here and so forth, let's go back to some of the questions.
And I think I
So,
saw on the screen that Freeport has a scholarship
oh
program.
yes, yeah, let me go
Yeah,
back there.
yeah. So
That
I,
was
I'm not too familiar with a lot of the programs that our brethren in the Family Islands are doing, and I do apologize.
yeah. World Vic also has a scholarship program, and there's a number, like you
Yeah,
said, there's 13 lodges in the English district, and they they're all they're private. That's why it's named private. They do
they
whatever
all
they need to do.
contribute to
Uh,
some.
Right.
Yeah, and they're helping. They're helping. But what I talked about is, we need to step our game up
Right.
and go beyond. Come out of the four walls. Get out there and do what you have to do. You know, um, because we can influence as Masons. We can influence change in this country.
Right.
I have no doubt. We
Right.
can influence change in this country.
Yeah. So
Now,
crime seems to be a big one with some of the young people. I don't think it's as much of the young people as people seem to blow it into be, but it's just a segment of young people who actually are getting a lot of attention because of the nature of their
yeah, the
behavior.
nature of the criminality in the country, and you only see the young men, and now you're seeing young women becoming a part of this culture.
Mm-hmm.
And this is only my view. They're crying out because they need positivity in their life,
Right. Right.
and that's all they're trying. They want
Right.
is positivity. Um,
Right.
when you look
So,
at
but
see that with this question about Freemasonry stance on crime, that's a little difficult. Um,
well, we don't
Now,
tolerate it. That's the bottom line. Yeah.
well, we don't tolerate it because we don't tolerate it with our members. No one
Right.
should be, no member should be before the courts for any criminal uh,
Activity.
charge.
Mm-hmm.
None, because we live by a standard. We act by a code. What we do inside should reflect the type of person we are outside.
Right. So how are we gonna unlock this code of this person? What they have
Able to
inside?
say,
You just highlighted it for me. Yeah.
someone should be able to say when you walk outside, that person, that man there is a Mason.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a Mason. So we don't tolerate the criminal lifestyle in this country. But we have to do something to help to change the mindset of the young people.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw
Yeah.
in a video clip, a gentleman was saying that when he was growing up, the lodge was the biggest thing The
in
Lord
his life.
held it together. We are not doing it.
Yeah, not as
We
good as
don't
what we could. Yeah.
we don't tolerate it. We don't tolerate it. But we should be in a position to help solve the issues.
Yeah. So in solving that issue, then we want to crack this code. The code which is to bring out the best in the person. Good men becoming better. We want to crack that code of every individual who joins Freemasonry and every individual that we become in touch with through our mentoring programs or social programs, etc. So in cracking that code, from your experience, you have had rich fingerprints touched on many people across all constitutions, inside out. You are considered one of the most people Masons that is in these 4 constitutions. You hear those accolades coming your way all the time. You mightn't hear them, but we hear them. What is your, I don't want to call them secrets, but what is your view as to how you approach people, so why you get the responses that you get from people?
Happy, I look at a person's heart, and that might sound a little cliche, but I can tell by the way that they move, the way that their interactions, and like you say, I'm a very simple individual. I'm very simple. But I try to bring off positive vibes no matter where I go. Some people may think that I am too quiet, I am too stuck up. But that's not the that's not the case. I can't explain it. It's just a gift I think I have when I reach out to people and start to talk to them. I really cannot explain it to you.
Well, my observation is that gift that you talk about is a gift of empathy. You have this innate ability to see what people are feeling and to connect, not just to see it, because there's a lot of people who can see it, but they're not able to connect. You are able to actually connect with them and to guide them through what they're feeling to where they can achieve their goals. So there's
I have
threefold things that you do. And I don't know if you noticed that that's what you do, but you do
no
it and you do it well.
no I don't after losing your parents, 2 brothers,
Grandfather.
yeah, my granddad, my grandparents, all my grandparents, and being in a system, being in an organization where I'm working part-time, you get to see a lot of you get to see a lot of people suffering, trying to understand what it is they're going through. And I'm just able to, I don't know that I have that ability, but
You have it, but you were doing that from high school.
I
When
just
you,
try
see,
to, you know, because I may have issues, but someone has greater issues than me. I could put my issues aside to deal with your issue, or your issues, or me talking to you about your issues may help me with my issue.
right, right.
So, you know, it
You have a
is.
safe space to talk
Yeah.
about in Freemasonry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when we look at all of that, and then we look at that skill or that ability or that gift, as we want to call it, when we touch those persons and help them to be able to see what they might not have been able to see before, to me, that's where leadership comes in. Because leaders should be taking people or guiding people to go to places where they want to go, that they don't by themselves think that they could get there. But we help them get there. And it's not necessarily by giving them money or giving them things and stuff like that. It's about building relationships with people and getting them to understand themselves
Exactly.
and help them grow as individuals.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, we have to lead by example. We have to lead by example. A young Mason could be someone 60 years old.
Like me.
You might be a leader at 40, but they're going to look to you because you are the leader. But you have to lead by example. You do the right things. You make the right steps. Good things happen.
Right.
They will follow you. You and I have children in lodge together. I cannot go and do again, and I use this word, foolishness, for my son to see. And then he's going to come back to me and say, well, Daddy, what's all this about? I thought you were a Mason. You shouldn't be acting that way. So don't get to that point. Make positive steps so they can see. The younger brethren see us making positive steps, doing the right thing.
Right.
Walk out into the world and do the right thing. It's not for. I'm not doing it for wealth.
Right.
I'm not doing it to try to get into a network. Freemasonry is going to find you out when you join.
That's true. That's for sure.
It's going to find you out. So when you are invited to join, because you have to be invited, you just can't knock on the door and say, I want to enter, and you come in. You have to come and be invited. You're then vetted. And then if you're approved, you come in. But you come in for the right reason. To better myself, to be the better version of who I am.
Right. Not
to
necessary.
To have integrity, kindness, honesty, fairness. But if you come for the wrong reasons, Freemasonry will find you out before you find Freemasonry.
Yeah, the monetary gain, or if you come in searching for monetary gain, or you want to just build a business, networking, and all that kind of stuff, that's you can go to other clubs for that. This Freemasonry is not about that.
Yeah.
Right. We want to build the person, build the man, build the boy into a man. Go from unpolished ashlar to a polished ashlar.
Yeah.
Right.
So in terms of cracking that code,
Mm-hmm.
again, we have to look at those young men at that age that need that guidance. Be able to sit down with them and talk to them openly
Right.
and say, listen, you're going down a slippery slope. Here's another avenue that you can turn, you can turn to. But we got to be able to sit down, have that conversation with them, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And until we do that, uh, we're still going to be at a standstill because we only invite people that we know.
Yeah.
Um, the the young man who was sitting on the side has to be able to see and say, you know what? Do I go left or I go right? I think I can
Yep.
go the same way that Brother Murray going, you know. And let me give you this story. I played flag football.
Mm-hmm. Well, you played real football first. Yeah.
And but real football I weren't open with
No,
my
just
Freemasonry.
accept it. Yeah, but you
I
played
wasn't
real
open with
football.
my
Yeah.
Freemasonry, right?
Mm-hmm.
But playing flag football, and the team had practice on a Monday and a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say to them, I cannot make Wednesdays because I have already committed.
Right.
I have already committed myself to Wednesdays because I have lodge.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people like Murray out every Wednesday, but he got lodge.
So they won't be out. Mm-hmm.
Two of my teammates came to me and spoke and asked me about joining lodge.
Right.
And I sat down with them and I explained to them what it was about. But I said to them, listen, it has to be genuine from your heart that this is what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Understand what you're getting yourself into. It's going to change your life. The day you walk through that door is going to change your life.
No, you start the process.
Today, there are two of the best Masons that we have, young Masons that we have.
Mm-hmm. You get out of
Imagine
Freemasonry
having,
what you put into it.
but imagine having that conversation with a 15-year-old, 16-year-old about to walk out of a secondary education.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you joining the government jobs. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong with you joining the armed forces. But what are you going to do? What about the one who can't join?
Right.
And like you say, we take that young mind and we polish it. We chip away at it. We chip away at that young mind. We form that young mind to what we think it should be. And we smooth off the rough edges.
Right. And more so what that person was born to be. That's what part of what we have to identify and help them identify their purpose and help them build to their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to be a clone of me or a clone of you. We're not going to try and do that to somebody. We want to find what they're about, what's driving them, and figure out how we could tweak it so that that person could become productive, constructive citizens of this country.
Of course.
And
Of course.
that's one of the main goals there. Have to go through this. And so you were talking about genuine, and Corey B is saying that Murray is simply genuine and he cares, and that's one of the key items why people draw to you as much, because nobody wants another mother or another boss to wake or another. And I said mother because mothers are the ones who round most of the time, and they can tell you what to do, and they'll be the ones who tell you go get the switch. So, but those are key items that we have there. And Abou here is saying that the great presentation, summary fee. Yeah, you Fred left it with you. Yeah, that's your dad, as he knows. Cool, Big Murray. Right,
Yes.
run.
Yeah, Schultz. Yes.
Yeah. But we got a couple more questions here that I wanted to tackle you before you spin off to go do all them other duties you got for the evening. And trying to find the one here. Well, once I look for that one, those are four of the things that we tend to always strive to do.
Yep.
Be men of integrity, build friendships, be respectful in
Respectful
our
and
do,
service.
and for all service.
So you could put in there kindness, honesty, and fairness, service.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
Right. And the key is, gents out there who might be aspiring, whatever you put into Freemasonry, the effort that you make, you're going to get based on the principles of the world and God. What you sow, you will reap, and you reap it multiple. So what you put into it, if you want to get a lot out of it, the knowledge base in Freemasonry is out of this world. You get information, or you can draw on information from credible sources across the globe. English Freemasonry is all over, and most of the other constitutions that Murray mentioned is pretty much all over also. So whenever you travel and you need to see places to get into the right libraries or whatever that you need to do, there's always going to be some brother somewhere who could guide you to give you credible information so that you don't become more efficient in getting what you want to do, and you don't go down the wrong streets to do the wrong things.
Well,
that's one of the brotherhood networking part that is a benefit.
And before we go, if there is anyone out there that is listening to the sound of my voice, any young man that, or not so young, but still want to join, have that conversation. Have that conversation with someone that you know to be a brother. And it doesn't have to be English, Scottish, Irish, or Prince Hall. Choose any one of them. But you need to have that conversation. And have the honest conversation. Is this what I need in my life at this point?
Yeah, get involved. Doctor off.
And you could go on, like I say, you can go on the internet and Google Freemasonry, and you're only going to get a snippet of what it is.
And you can get what you're looking for.
But I guarantee you join, it will change your life. I could go on Google and find out the 11 herbs and spices of Kentucky Fried Chicken, but they ain't gonna tell me how to mix it. In a way.
Finger looking good.
So Google will tell you Freemasonry is XYZ. But they're not going to tell you that inner person that we have, how it's going to affect that inner person.
Right.
When you step into and you become a Mason, your life action should reflect that. And that's all I got to say.
Yeah. And so what you touch on there also is that, what Google will tell you is what you are looking for. They're not going to tell you nothing else. And so if you're looking for something to say that Freemasonry is bad, you can find that. If you're looking for someone to say it's good, you find that. So my advice to you would be is to find some real person who you hold in esteem, who you know to be a Mason, and who you respect, etc. And go sit down and talk with those persons. It might be more than one conversation. It might just be one.
Yeah.
Have as many as you want.
Yeah.
Learn as much as you can about what you want, because it's going to be powerful for you. A lot of people join. Some people just wanted to be socially inclined. And after a couple of years, when they realized now they up in the district, and they said that they didn't want to do anything, right? Because it expanded their minds and their scope. And that's the key to breaking the code. You break the code through the mentioned mechanisms that Big Murray said, but then the code then allows you to expand your mind, and that expanding your mind allows you to become successful.
Exactly.
It's simple. All of God's things are simple. It might be hard to do, but whatever he deems worthy is simple. And so when we talk about it in Freemasonry, we talk about the great architect of the universe, or the supreme being. It's the mode that we use. So Brother Dave here is going to close us out here, and he said, I agree with Stephen. It's great to be under the tutelage. He's talking about you. So I missed that one, Stephen. I saw that somewhere.
You guys can cause me to cry, but not on camera.
Yeah, man. Big Murray,
Hey,
Assistant District Grand Master, and now the newest Deputy Grand Superintendent in the Holy Royal Arch. Big things going for Big Murray, winning the support of the people, the brothers across and across. You deserve it, my brother.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for the many blessings out there.
Yes. All right, don't go too far. I can close out, and then we'll be back with you in 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've been watching Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. We enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed it and got some value out of it. You asked a lot of questions. Well, Larry, some of the questions I'll seek to get some answers for you that I didn't have experience with. If you wish, just hit me up, let me know, and so forth. If you have an interest in Freemasonry, or want to just know more about how we go about being successful at mentoring and helping people, hit up one of us and ask some questions. If they don't have the answers, they'll point you to the people who can answer for you. So do well, be safe. Don't forget to share this video with all your friends across the globe. Hit the like button so that YouTube and the rest will tell people to share it to who they want to share it to. And also subscribe. When you subscribe, you get all our updates without me having to send it to you or some other friend I'm sending. You just get it direct. Don't cost you nothing to do any of those things. So, peace, man, please. Thank you all. And we will be back same time, same bat channel next week for another provocative show and attention. Peace out.
Enjoyed the show? Then subscribe to us for more educational and inspirational content. Ring the bell so you never miss a show. Let's change the narrative, 242.